much more power than the Duke. I'm comparing this bike a lot to my 2014 KTM Duke 690. I like this bike. Suspension's very soft. I'm in standard mode, okay. Compared to the Duke, standard mode is still snatchy. Of course, as a lot of you have probably seen, wow, this engine's really wide. It touches my leg right here. You burn the shit out of yourself in the summer. Or if you squid around. First impressions, a lot of power. Second impressions, the throttle is snatchy, even in standard mode compared to the Duke. Now, I could get used to it. Suspension, extremely soft. Sitting position, I don't know, I feel like I am pitched forward more. I like the rear sets. They're a lot farther back than my Dukes, because it just has like standard dirt bike style foot pegs. So I like the footing position. The seats, not as comfortable as the Dukes in my opinion. I'm 5'8". I can flat foot this bike, so that's comfortable. And I don't have any nuts to smash. Brakes, really good. Clutch, I like that KTM hydraulic clutch. This one's like stiff and I don't like the engagement. Transmission, oh, motherfucker, that thing's there. Man, it still smells like poop. The engagement is with the clutch. You can feel the engagement really nice, so that's good. You can go instantly fast. Now, I can't knock this bike necessarily. The tires they do pretty much need to be replaced. It's mostly been ridden in straight lines, so they have a pretty flat profile. So I can't knock that. My God, the suspension's like a cloud. I don't feel anything. Yamaha did a really good job on this bike, except for the suspension. With the suspension and the price point, maybe even just a little more expensive, $500 more expensive, it would have been almost perfect. Engine is extremely smooth. I feel very little vibration. I'm in 4th gear. I have tons of power. Gearing's decent. I'm not really, I have been on this bike for a total of 5 minutes. So the gearing feels fine. I'm in 4th gear and I'm going 55, essentially. And I don't feel like it's revving a whole lot. Yeah, I probably could be in 5th and be fine. Man, this engine's smooth. But anything's going to feel smooth to me. The Duke has a lot of vibration. Vibration doesn't bother me. I really don't have too much of an opinion on it, other than I don't know, it's a lot of vibration. It's there. It's just a part of life with the Duke. It's like riding a dirt bike. Don't be a pussy. Even though the rear sets are sit like farther back, I do kind of feel like my hands are more up. I don't know if that's just a weird initial feeling. I kind of feel like cruisery. Oh my God, the suspension is so soft. I don't like the steering. It probably is more the tires than the bike, but it just feels, it feels lethargic to turn in. And it wants to kind of straighten up, I guess you could call it. It wants to stand up when you go to like accelerate. That's most likely, I'm gonna talk some engineer shit and without being an engineer, but that's most likely because the rear shock squats so much and the front forks extend, so it essentially has like, it's like a chopper kind of thing going on, so the long suspension in the front keeps it from wanting to steer in. That may be a bunch of horse shit, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So like if you're under power and you want to accelerate, it keeps wanting to go straight. It doesn't want to turn in. The Duke is way better with that. It is very neutral, even almost wants to tip in more. Damn, okay, we are at like 3,600 RPM, smooth as motherfucking butter. Like nice melted butter on pancakes. This engine is really incredible. Sounds cool. Kind of sounds like, it reminds me, I do the drifting thing, it reminds me of a 2JZ. 2JZ. The Toyota motor that comes in the Supra and a number of other Japanese vehicles. Kind of has a good howl to it. The little lights, they do flop around. That's kind of funny. Meh. Doesn't bother me. Fuck. This suspension. so divey. Love, love, love this transmission. I don't know, I was saying it earlier, but if you follow my channel, you'll notice that I did the shift kit on the Duke. It has very vague shifting, and it would false neutral from 4th to 5th and 5th to 6th, mostly 5th to 6th. But if you're having a great old day, it would do it from 4th to 5th too. I did the shift kit. It helped you feel what gear you were in going into gear. It stiffened up the pedal a little bit, and I haven't had a false neutral since, so that has helped. For such an expensive motorcycle off the bat, the Duke, I think that's why there's not many of them. One, the vibration, two, the price point is why they're not so popular. For the price of that bike, it should damn well shift right from the factory. It's a simple spring. I mean, really, KTM, I'm not really sure why they didn't do that. There may be some reason that we're not cued into. Maybe they're just trying to sell aftermarket parts, but for 200 bucks, that's a lot for a spring, but it's super easy, so whatever. I did it. It shifts better. I'm happy. End of story there. But this bike, goddamn, I love the transmission. The pedal, because it has rear sets, is in a lot better position for me and my boots, especially if you're wearing leathers. I really like the engagement. It sounds clunky. Some people may not like that. I really like that a lot. I know it's in gear after riding the Duke. It reminds me of the other Yamaha R1s that I've owned. Okay, yeah, kind of lazy to turn. It'd be nice to take this thing on some twisties. It'd almost be kind of scary with these tires at least. So, quick recap. I love this bike. It's a hooligan bike. I've already done a tiny little wheelie, and you guys know I don't really do wheelies. It's so easy to do wheelies on. It's very comfortable. The seat, if you have nuts, you'd probably be sitting on them, so it kind of pushes you a little forward. The fellas may not like that. Clutch engagement, nice. The clutch lever, not nearly as good as a hydraulic clutch that comes in a KTM. Throttle is snatchy. I'm only in standard mode, and it still is like kind of abrupt. I'm not even going to try it on B mode. I've been riding this thing for 10 minutes now. Suspension, extremely soft. It causes it to not want to turn in, especially under throttle in the corners. Not a fan of the suspension. You really don't feel any bumps, so if you're commuting on it, leave it as it is and just enjoy the ride. Engine, fantastic. Very, very, very smooth. Good power down low. I'm just kind of lugging it right now. Even stock, it has a decent note. It's got a cool sound. It is a triple. There are many aftermarket exhaust options now. There's a lot of aftermarket available for this bike, which is really nice. Price point is amazing. This bike was bought used. It is a 2015 he bought it with almost 4,000 miles on it. So it was even cheaper. So you have, if you buy this bike new or used, you have room to modify it without having to spend a lot on the initial purchase price. You can really put a lot of money into this thing and make it really nice. There's kind of a growl, yeah, kind of vibration at 4,000, a little over 4,000. I feel it in the pegs and the bars, kind of in the whole bike. Not really sure what that is. Not a whole lot of vibration at all. I ride a single-cylinder Duke 690. That thing is known for being extremely vibey. It's just like a dirt bike if you've ridden one of those. This engine has a lot of power up top and decent power down low. It's really the rev range. Shit, I haven't even gotten near the top. This thing will fly, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, what else have I touched on? Rear sets, excellent. Love the position of the pedals. Brakes, they're good. They're not like amazing, oh my god, but they're good brakes. It's a heavier bike than the Duke. It does ride heavier. You can feel it going, you know, back and forth. The Duke is very lightweight, and I think like 330 pounds, and this one's almost 400, or maybe a little over 400, I'm not sure. Sorry for not having my facts right. Oh man, the bump! I run over that on the Duke and it's like, boom! It's pretty sharp, but this, you barely even feel it. Mirrors, they work better than the Dukes because it doesn't vibrate a shitload, so I can kind of see what's behind me. I just kind of see shapes on the Duke. It works. Bars, they're a little more swept back than the Dukes. I would like more aggressive bars, but that's easy to fix. This thing sounds neat. Overall, I'm very impressed. I do like my Duke. It's more my style. This is kind of a mix between a sport bike and a naked bike. Well, it is a naked bike, but it's more sporty bike than the Duke ever will or wants to be. It's definitely like a thumper dirt bike, supermoto kind of style versus this. The bumps are like a cloud. I'll see if I can do some good acceleration when I get onto the highway, but these back roads, I'm just kind of taking it easy. Hopefully the wind noise isn't so bad with my cheap-ass Chinese microphone. Very impressed with this bike. It is roomy. If you have long legs, you'll have a lot of room. Really lugging it. Yeah, it's lugging it. So smooth. No complaints whatsoever. You do the Duke, you'll hammer your teeth out like that. So smooth. Pretty much anybody could ride this bike. So if you're a beginner, it does have quite a bit of power. So if you've got the whiskey throttle, you're not good at controlling that, I would not suggest this bike. If you've ridden dirt bikes or something before and it's your first street bike, you should be able to survive. But this throttle is very snatchy. It is still light. You have the wide bars, so you have a lot of leverage. It's just kind of lazy. Just kind of lazy. I could travel on this. I could travel on this for sure. Get a little windscreen. I almost think I do get more air, like wind, from this bike than the Duke. The Duke's headlight's more up here, but I think this air is a little bit cleaner. It kind of buffets a little bit on the Duke. This one seems to be more just like a blast of air, less buffeting, you know, moving your head around. Still warp speed in first gear. It's pretty out. It is very cold though. Yes, I am recording. Yes, okay. Hopefully it's recording all this. I said a lot of words and things and stuff. This thing would make a fun ride to work. Total do whatever the fuck you want bike. Alright, if you're really accelerating hard, kind of a little bit of a flat spot, I guess. I'm probably not doing it fairly. I don't want to rev it out and really go fast. But if you're kind of hammering on it and you're like in the 6 to 7 range, it'll kind of lug if you're shifting around there. So not quite as much torque as maybe 1000 cc. I'm used to that. So you're really hammering on it. Shift in the high revs if you can. I'm sure this thing will fly. But that was a little bit of kind of just lag when you're really twisting on the throttle. Alright, in summary of the FZ-09, 2015 FZ-09 versus my 2014 KTM Duke 690. I like the Duke's chassis more. I like how it turns in, holds the line, is light, the bar feel, all that good stuff. Suspension, factory suspension. I like the Duke's chassis more. I like the FZ-09's engine and power more. Much smoother, of course, much more power, probably about 30 or more horsepower difference. That makes a lot of difference in motorcycles because they are light. I don't like how big the engine is. I don't like how it sticks out. This is a wider bike. I do feel like I'm sitting on something wider, obviously, because the triple is wider than a single. I definitely could own one of these. If I had all the money in the world, I probably would. I'd own the Duke and one of these. I would still probably choose, if I had to do it again, I'd probably still choose the Duke because it suits my personality better. If I really wanted a lot of power, I would probably just get a sport bike. I love sport bikes. The Duke really kind of fills that hooligan supermoto, but a little more civilized than a dirt bike supermoto on the street. Kind of fills that niche for me. It's fun. It gets a ton of, you know, people looking at it. Now, for everybody, the Duke really isn't for everybody. The vibrations, a lot. There's a lot of vibration, so if you don't like vibration, then that's definitely a negative. It's neutral for me. I really don't care. Sometimes it does get buzzy, but I bought it knowing that it vibrated a lot, so it's kind of like one of those things. I knew about it, so don't complain about it. The suspension on the Duke's way better, so like, back to the chassis thing. The FZ-09 suspension, widely known to be way too soft. Come on guys, it's easily upgradable. You can get the cartridges, you can have it done, or you can do it yourself. And like a different shock, and boom, you'd have a fast, comfortable, nice handling machine for a very inexpensive price. It's a lot cheaper than the Duke, and it may suit you better. So the FZ-09, I give a definite thumbs up. Yamaha made a fantastic bike. You've got a lot of aftermarket, a lot of support. As I'm modding my KTM, I just put a cam in it, and I'm finding that there really isn't a lot of support for it. The dealer didn't have a map, so now I have to go down the road of getting a dyno tune and a piggyback, and then I have to finish all my mods first. So anyway, not too excited about that, but the Duke is not popular here in the US, so if you want something that has a lot of support, a lot of power, a good chassis, and definitely modifiable, and it looks good, the FZ-09 is definitely a good contender for your dollars.